Hello my friends, welcome back to Sophisticakes by Mary. For this cake, I'm going to show you how you can make this really cool multicolored dot all buttercream cake. All this takes is buttercream and a piping bag. I swear that's it. And then I embellished it with some of these really pretty, they remind me of almost Christmas colored balls all this is synthetic. So let's get started with our cake, and we're going to go ahead and do a crumb coat with, it's kind of a pale tan colored buttercream. Now, one of the things I'm going to show you in this video is how I pick my color palettes a lot of the time. If I don't already have a preconceived idea and it's more than 2 colors and I'm having trouble coming up with a color palette, it's really super easy and I will show you that. But for now, we are just smoothing out our crumb coat and filling in any gaps. This doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to go back over it and put quite a bit more buttercream on top of this. So don't go too crazy with the thickness on your crumb coat. And just get that top ledge just pulled into the center and go ahead and put it in your refrigerator and chill it. Now, these are the colors that I picked. I thought they were really pretty. So what I do is I go in and I use Pinterest for my color palettes. Now, this here is just an example. I had searched fall color palettes 2022, and that pulled up all these different color palettes. And then you just pick which one you want to do and get as close as you can with your buttercream gel colors. Any of these color palettes would have done, but I decided on this one. I wanted to use paler, dusty colors and one pop of color that would be a deeper color. And the reason being, for this technique, I do find that if you have too many dark colors, it kind of gets dragged around the cake on your buttercream, and then you're fighting it. But I thought it needed to have a deeper color, so that's why I did one deeper color, and then I accented it with the artificial flowers and those balls. So all you do is, I have different size tips, the round tips on all my bags here, the larger ones, and just go around your cake and you just pipe tall dots. Like, you want these to stick out from the cake a ways because you're going to be scraping this cake and revealing those dots once you have done your final coat of buttercream. So you want to make sure that they don't taper too small at the tip. Kind of hold the bag away from the cake and put pressure on the bag and let it fill itself in. I do this with all of them, and I tried to vary the sizes of the dots a little bit just to get some variation, but concentrating it more on the base of the cake. And just to ensure that I'm getting a good circle with these dots, I'm patting down the tips of those piped dots. That always happens to me inevitably. Some people can just pipe it and stop their pressure and pull away and they have a perfect dot. I don't. So I have to go back in once they have crusted over a little bit and use my clean hands, my finger, to just tap down the peak of those dots, so that they're all similar depths to the cake, if that makes sense. I'm kind of reshaping them a little bit if I need to also. Now we're gonna go in. I popped that in the freezer for a good hour. I think I did about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, because you want that first part of your buttercream to be nice and firm. Because when you go in with the second part, you don't want to mess up your pattern. So now that this is nice and firm, I'm going in with the tan color, that pale ivory tan color, and filling in the gaps. Make up plenty of this buttercream for this last part of the buttercream, because it takes quite a bit to fill in those holes. There's gonna be some buttercream waste on this type of a design, because you're gonna take a lot of it off. It's just kind of inevitable. And once you get that all applied, just kind of do a rough coat or smoothing on your cake just to kind of get rid of the excess as much as you can, but you don't want to mess with it too long because your cake has been sitting at room temperature for a little while now. And those dots that you first piped could get softened up. So just want to kind of quickly go over it and try to make sure that you got all your gaps filled in. And just keep it a little smoother because it makes it, get it smoother because it makes it easier when you're doing your final scraping of this cake. And then once you get it kind of smoothed out, pop it back in your freezer for another, let me think, I think I did an hour. I think another hour. And then you take it out of your freezer and you do this scraping. I would recommend a metal scraper that you have. Can you see that picture behind the cake there? That is filled with warm water. And then I have another bowl to put the buttercream that I had scraped off into. You don't want to intermix those colors. You want to scrape them off and keep your scraper as clean as you can while you're doing this. It just makes it a lot easier. And this is one of those techniques that you're going to want to keep dipping in your hot water also, because that really helps to reveal your pattern here. And this takes a while. What I will say is if it starts to spread and your colors are intermixing a little bit too much, do what I just did there, pop it back in your freezer for another half an hour and bring it back out again. This is a simple design, but it does take some time. I'm not gonna lie, it does take some time, but it's very beautiful and worth it when you're done. And when you're in the middle of the scraping, you're gonna have a moment where you think, what did I do? This is awful. This is not at all what I saw on the video. Well, trust me, I edited some quite a bit of the footage out because this took me a while, and I went through those stages too. I'll tell you about them. I didn't show you, but because this video would be way too long. But I'll tell you, I did have those moments too, and I have done this with marbling before, and I did know in the back of my mind that you just have to get to the point where you're revealing your pattern. Keep the faith. It will come out. And now I'm just cutting down those artificial berries. I'm going to call them berries instead of balls. I think they look more like berries. Cutting those down to attach to the cake. And then I'm just going to cut down these roses also and cut my wire into about 2-inch long sections because I'm going to bend those into a U shape and use those to attach my embellishments. And always remember to tell your client when there is any other object in your cake that they need to know about that they would not want to eat. Because a placement like this would be pretty difficult to do with buttercream. It would be very difficult to get it to stay in place with buttercream. So just go ahead and let them know. And I'm just starting at the top because I wanted it to wrap around the top a little bit there and kind of just have this nice little flare off the side. And these flowers I thought were really pretty. I don't know if you can tell, but they have some kind of like snow frost on them, which I thought was really pretty. It kind of made them more of the winter kind of look to this. I wanted the winter/fall color vibe with some of this frosty kind of shimmery effect with the embellishments. Because we're coming up on that time of the year, aren't we, guys? Christmas is coming. So there you go, guys. I hope you liked it, and I hope you give it a try. This is a really cool technique, and I did not come up with this idea. I will attach below in the description where I got my inspiration from, as long as I can find that again. And I hope the Pinterest little helpful hint is useful to you, because I find it very useful. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch my video. And if you'd like to watch some other videos, go ahead and click on the link to one of these other videos shown here. And if you would like to check out my other social media, I am on Facebook and Instagram under the same name, Sophisticakes by Mary. And please take the time to share, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you know when I upload another video. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you on the next tutorial.